Hello friends, it's me, and today let's watch Did Nike Fall Off Style Theory from the Style Theorist. Together, let's go. Let's start. Thank you.
Nike has fallen off. Its stock is in the gutter. Its street cred, non-existent. Heck, even Skechers has more aura. So the question is, what happened to Nike? Hello Internet, welcome to Style Theory, the show that wants you to
Just do it!
And by do it, I mean solo tap that subscribe button. Look at it, it's so lonely. Just do it.
Subscribe!
You did it! Just like Nike used to.
Yeah,
Hello Internet, welcome to Style Theory. Just do it! Subscribe, thank you.
Swoop isn't doing too hot these days. Don't get me wrong, technically it is still the top sporting goods company in the world, but popularity doesn't actually give you riz. When it comes to topping lists of cool kids actually want to wear these, you're seeing brands like Hoka, On Sneakers, and even Skechers start to take center stage.
I mean, have you seen the Spy X Family collab? Look at that. I'm dead. And then there's Nike. It used to be the shoe brand for years. I mean, even I couldn't escape their it factor. I, like every kid who grew up watching Space Jam, wished for a pair of Air Jordans so that I could help defeat the Monstars. But I could never afford any, so the dream never came true. And now, I don't even know if I wanted to.
Nike went from the giant that couldn't be defeated to irrelevant without any of us noticing.
So, what happened?
Well, it turns out that Nike has been dropping the ball in a way that not only nearly killed its business, but knocked it out of the pop culture spotlight. From its business evolution to its lack of style innovations, it's been bad news after bad news for Nike.
But don't worry, Nike, because we are about to solve all of your problems. In fact, I'm so confident that we're
Hey, Snorlax, Dragon Knight!
gonna save Nike's business that I'm gonna give it my business card. Watch this. Pow! That's so cool. I mean, who needs a fidget spinner when I can just pull out my Esker wallet? This can keep me entertained for hours. Oh yeah, this is my new favorite addition to my bag. It is an Esker wallet. And lucky for you, they are partnering with us today to bring you a huge discount on what is, no joke, the best wallet I have ever used.
I used to be a huge wallet person, at least until I decided to downsize my bag and prioritize finding clothes with actual functioning pockets. You know me, I love my pockets. So I got a card holder instead, but it just didn't work. My cards would get stuck and I'd hurt my fingers or break a nail trying to get them out of those teeny weeny card sleeves. But no more. With a click of this button, I have easy access to all of my cards. Pow! It's like a magic trick. And if you do need a little bit more space, you can upgrade to the Wallet Pro and have extra room for your bills, business cards, or a photo of your pets. And it's compact enough to fit into a clutch or even a woman's jean pocket. I know! Crazy! Plus, as a bonus, it has RFID protection to keep your information safe. And if you're like me and constantly worry that you've misplaced your wallet or bag, you can even add a tracker card to help keep track of all of your most valuable and vulnerable items.
I mean, listen, I got one for me, I got one for my mom, I got one for my partner. They are just that good.
And since Extra's having a massive Father's Day sale, Dad is about to get one too. Not only are their items already up to 40% off, if you go to partner.esker.com/styletheorist and use code STYLE at checkout, you will get an extra 10% off all your extra goodies. Yes, it stacks. So click the link in the description and use code STYLE today to cash in on these sweet, sweet savings.
But can we save Nike from itself and prove to me that my childhood dream of owning a pair of Air Jordans is still worth fulfilling?
So anyways, thank you so much for supporting the Style Theorist in this video. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The first shoe to drop on Nike's reputation was, drumroll please, COVID.
For years, and by years I mean most of its life, Nike operated on what's known as a business-to-business model, or B2B. B2B models work like this. Nike makes a pair of shoes. They then sell those shoes to a store like Foot Locker, Macy's, or Dick's Sporting Goods at a wholesale cost.
This is typically a lower price than you, the customer, would be paying.
That's so that these stores can sell those shoes to you at a higher price and keep a cut of those profits for themselves.
And Nike gets access to a whole bunch of new customers for its shoes without having to pay any of those pesky overhead costs. You know, things like rent and employees. It was a win-win.
Or it was until around 2017, when Nike had a thought. How can we make more money? And the answer was cutting out the middleman, aka the retail stores. And so Nike made a switch from B2B to D2C.
Direct to customer, for those of you who don't speak retail jargon, is exactly what it sounds like. It's when a business sells directly to its customers without having to go through a third-party source like a different retailer.
This makes
So case in point, we learned something new. B2B, D2C. The more you know. Thank you.
cutting ties with some of the oldest and biggest retail chains, either by completely removing Nike products from their shelves or massively limiting the amount of shoes these stores could actually sell.
I mean, why would you want to give all of your most popular and profitable products to other stores when you could have your customers come directly to you and keep all the money?
Nike started opening a ton of physical stores, including 5 brand new concept stores that aim to cater to specific markets. But that wasn't all Nike was doing. It was ready to go digital. Nike created not 1, not 2, but 4 brand new apps, including things like the Nike Run Club, the Nike Training Club,
And of course, my personal favorite, Snickers, which I am assuming is pronounced like the candy bar? No, I will not be taking notes.
This one was aimed at the sneakerheads, aka the most hardcore of sneaker fanatics, with the goal of turning Nike from just another brand into a lifestyle. They also hired a brand new CEO to help solidify this new digital-first strategy. He wasn't a retail guy like their last CEO. He was a tech guy, one who had worked for online sales giants like eBay.
They hired him in, let me double check, 2020. Yeah, remember how I said COVID has a big impact on Nike's current failures? Well,
When everyone went into lockdown, Nike was one of the few companies already set up for that digital-only COVID time. And so Nike's stock skyrocketed, reaching an all-time high by November of 2021.
things were going so well, in fact, that their CEO basically said that they didn't believe people would go back into stores after COVID.
But COVID-19, global pandemic, global shutdown was 2020, 2021, 2022. After these periods, well, okay, look, I'm from the future. I'm from the year 2025. So, yeah.
And so they were going to double down on digital-first sales. I mean, what could go wrong?
It turns out a lot. Customers did
Please don't say what could go wrong. It's famous last words. It's a red flag.
return to major retailers like Dick's and Foot Locker because they wanted the convenience of having everything they needed in one place. Everything, of course, except for Nike. Why?
Because when Nike just went and pulled all of its shoes from the stores, those stores didn't just leave those shelves empty.
They filled them with Nike's rivals, like Adidas and new brands like Hoka and On sneakers. So instead of seeing Nike's products, they were turning to other brands and slowly forgetting that Nike even existed at all. And Nike wasn't helping itself.
One of the reasons that Nike got so big was because it was making things that no other shoe brand was actually making.
Nike wasn't just a brand that made shoes to look and feel cool. They pushed the technological envelope for shoes to higher and higher levels. This led to iconic shoes like the Nike Air, which used their flexible and lightweight Flyknit technology, as well as a host of other Nike breakthroughs.
And of course, those Air Jordans I always wanted.
In fact, Nike cared so much about creating new and interesting products that it ran a multi-million-dollar innovation center at its headquarters.
Whose main goal was to make cool
But over the past few years, Nike has once
Oh! What did you say? What did you say? I'm gonna wait.
products that it ran a multi-million-dollar innovation center at its headquarters.
whose main goal was
LeBron James Innovations Center.
to make cool
But over the
Oh, come on! Okay, look, Amy. I think you interact with Santi way too much.
past few years, Nike has once again dropped that metaphorical basketball. While the pandemic brought a lot of opportunities for Nike to sell its products to a larger audience than ever before, it also killed their creativity.
which Relatable.
But despite record high profits, Nike wanted to play it safe. Instead of coming up with bold and innovative new designs, they focused instead on selling their tried and true products, ones that were historically bestsellers, like the Dunks, the Air Force Ones, and the Air Jordans.
They made my dream babies basic. Jail. Straight to jail.
However, instead of owning their misstep, Nike passed the blame onto something else: remote work. We hate to see it. As their CEO put it,
In hindsight, it turns out it's really hard to do boldly disruptive innovation to develop a boldly disruptive shoe on Zoom.
Hold up a minute, Chad, because there
So apparently, okay, I can do that. I can't do that, sorry. sorry.
are a few flaws in your logic.
flaw number one is that Nike was actually one of the first shoe companies to bring employees back into the office post-lockdown, meaning they weren't dealing with quite as many video calls as that quote would imply. Flaw number two is that most of their rival companies
You know, the ones who were doing numbers?
had been able to create boldly disruptive shoes just fine remotely. And then you have flaw number three, Nike's waterfall of layoffs. Yeah, instead of holding on to all of their creative employees, a large chunk of Nike's top talent were just let go. This made room for those new brands like Hoka and On Sneakers to slip past Nike and make a name for themselves.
Listen, there's a good reason that the jet lag guys wear Hokas when they're running across Europe, Japan, Australia, or wherever they're at right now.
Every pair of Hokas has things like a cushioned midsole, an active foot frame, and better rocker technology that give hikers more comfort and runners more speed. Things that the brand developed because they listened to what their customers wanted and evolved their product. Back in the day, there was one other part of the innovation race that Nike excelled at: star power. Nike cultivated their high-profile reputation by focusing on real top athletes. Athletes like Michael Jordan of Space Jam fame. But Nike didn't just give them an ad to read. They worked with those athletes to create shoes they can actually use in their sport. Not only
Oh, fun fact, if I'm not wrong, Michael Jordan right now is like 60 plus years old. He's a grandfather, okay? Grandfather age. He is a billionaire. Billionaire with a B. Yep. So, case in point, millionaire, multi-millionaire, billionaire. Next after billionaire is multi-billionaire lah. So, multi-billionaire is Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk. Yeah.
only did this help Nike's reputation, but it helped the athletes. While Nike got firsthand knowledge about what players needed to improve their shoes, the athletes got a shoe that was made for them and a potential legacy brand.
Listen, I didn't want Air Jordans because I wanted to be good at basketball. I wanted them because I saw Michael Jordan defy gravity and defeat the bad guys while wearing them. I wanted to be that person, and so I wanted to wear his shoes.
But as Nike focused more on its internal operations, it started to lose that external X factor. I mean, just look at what's happening. Last year, Nike announced that it would be ending its 27-year partnership with Tiger Woods. Then you had former Nike Golden Boy Roger Federer popping up in a Super Bowl ad with Elmo for On Sneakers. And then they also lost their female star athletes like Simone Biles and Breanna Stewart.
Their stars were retiring, or worse, going over to sign with other more relevant brands.
Nike has sunk its own ship. But before we call this a Titanic failure, I did say that there was
I see what we did there. Sunken ship, Titanic.
one potential way for Nike to climb back to the top.
So if Nike's bad business choices and boring designs led to their downfall, how can they turn it around for the second half? That's a sports metaphor, right?
The first
Yep.
thing you need to do to fix
Yep,
a
that's a
problem
sports
is
metaphor.
admit there's a problem in the first place. And unfortunately for Nike, the numbers were too hard to ignore. They had to come to terms with getting caught with their shoes untied. And And they did, sort of. While Nike is still pushing their direct-to-consumer business, they did make one big change.
They ditched their tech-first CEO and hired someone who, actually cared about Nike, the brand and the legacy. And he wanted Nike back in stores and back on the feet of big-name athletes.
They then divided up the company into men's sports and women's sports.
A little binary for my taste, but again, I wanted to be Michael Jordan on the Toon Squad and they were co-ed. I know, a movie so ahead of its time.
This switch let Nike have entire departments focused on the specific needs of their athletes and their athletes' sports. And it was this change that led Nike to signing two of the biggest names in women's basketball, Caitlin Clark and Aja Wilson. And not only are they there to promote Nike, they are getting to create their very own signature shoes.
And hear me out, a movie tie-in, like say a sequel to Space Jam, a movie that currently has absolutely no sequels. Zero. None. Does not exist.
However,
yeah, yes, yeah, Amy, Amy saw the landmine and like, you know what? Nope. Moving on.
to be sustainable, Nike needs to not just rebuild its reputation as an athletic shoe brand, it needs to make a name for itself as a fashion brand. Because while footwear is a huge part of Nike's business, about 68% every quarter, it's their apparel where they need to start placing some big bets. And they're already taking baby steps. Alongside announcing Aja Wilson's A1s, they dropped this hoodie, which comes with a satin-lined hood.
People were gagged. And that's because satin is a savior to keeping your hair looking shiny and healthy, especially if you're a type 3 or type 4 bestie.
But while it's great to see Nike return to its roots, that may not be enough to win back its former fanatics or create a brand new era of customers. Nike's whole problem stemmed from not being able to connect with new audiences and meet them where they're at, whether that's on the field or at home in their own closets. It's not enough anymore to rely on sneakerheads in sports for sales. What Nike needs to do is break back into pop culture mainstream.
What they need is their next Space Jam, something to make the next generation connect core memories to their brand. And they just might have found it, thanks to the Super Bowl.
Not only was this year's Super Bowl the most watched ever, but Kendrick Lamar's halftime show was the most watched halftime show in history.
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Which Kendrick certainly has, because not only were men suddenly craving wide-leg jeans, that pair of Nikes that he was sporting for the performance immediately sold out.
Wow.
Congratulations, resellers.
And to top that off, tennis legend and dancing queen Serena Williams was also sporting Nike, head to toe. Yeah, the pair of Converse Chucks she was wearing went viral.
Yes, Converse is a Nike-owned brand, and these even featured a subtle swoop on the sides and one of the tongues.
And Serena also wore a custom version of the Nike 24/7 top and skirt in a gorgeous blue.
One could even call it a style theory blue.
It's hard to argue against the impact of big
Oh, fun fact. There was this fiction about Serena Williams in which, in her tennis match, right, the court, she knows exactly, she's able to hit exactly which spots at pinpoint accuracy. It's like, I will only hit at this particular spots 10 times. Bam, 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 bam. There was this myth. Look, if it's possible, I don't know. You're good. You're legendary good.
relevant names in entertainment wearing your products. Heck, that's the basis of all influencer marketing. That's why you're seeing Nike partnering with streamers like Kai Cenat. They know that to stay alive, they have to evolve with the times.
Listen,
To be fair, Kai Cenat is the largest Twitch live streamer, period. Right now. Largest YouTube live streamer is IShowSpeed.
I know that Space Jam is old news, but it had an impact that can't be argued. While Air Jordans may be basic now, they are a part of my childhood, and that means that part of me will always have a connection to them. Like if I wear them, then I'll be transported back to how I felt when I watched Lola Bunny and Michael Jordan defeat the Monstars. And it's true for a whole generation of people.
And now kids can dream of being Kendrick Lamar on stage at the Super Bowl or Caitlin Clark on the court. That is, if Nike can remember that in the end, the key to their legacy is our connection to their brand. But hey,
Wait, that is actually a very, very good quote. Thank you so much, Amy. I'm going to listen to that one more time.
or Caitlin Clark on the court. That is, if Nike can remember that in the end, the key to their legacy is our connection to their brand. But hey,
One more time.
or Caitlin Clark on the court. That is, if Nike can remember that in the end, the key to their legacy is our connection to their brand. But hey, that's just a theory, a style theory. Keep looking sharp. Up next on Style Theory.
Have you ever wondered what is the right way to wash a white sneaker? We're gonna find out today.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. You ended this video nicely. That's, hey, you're a big company, you're a small company, you're a multi-billionaire company, you are not even a millionaire company, you're a few $1,000 company. Well, the most important thing is to be able to connect with your audience. The relatability factor helps a lot. So, thank you. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe. Thank you. But hey, that's just a theory. Style theory. Keep looking sharp. One more time. But hey, that's just a theory, a style theory. Keep looking sharp. Thank you. Subscribe. Woo! Yes! Got it. Thank you.